Well, hi everybody. This is Chris Bates coming to you the second week of June 2015 from the 7A Ranch, Wimberley, Texas. As most of you know, this place got hit very, very hard over the Memorial Day weekend. Quite devastating. And thought I would sort of take a little video tour, show everybody just how sad the destruction here is. A little bit of personal history, and this is true of a lot of folks who come to 7A Ranch, and that is I have actually been coming here for many, many years. My family started coming here around 1964. I wasn't born until 1966, and we came here just about every year up until the end of the 1970s. Since we moved away from Texas, and we would come back a couple of times for family reunions. And around the year 2008, when I had my own family, we decided to take a trip up here after we had moved to Texas, and my family loved it just as much as I always did. And as we look around here, you'll note that the owners here are still kind of in a state of shock. I'm sure they're getting tons of questions. What's next? Are you going to rebuild? What's the future? And I honestly think they don't know yet. I think they're still sort of processing, still sort of cleaning some stuff up. As you see where I am right now, I am standing in front of the only 3 cabins that are still functional, so to speak. We'll take a walk and we'll see some cabins that might be salvageable, but not at this point, and some of them, sadly, are completely wiped out. So we'll go take a look, and I guess before I go any further, I'd like to ask those of you who, maybe if you've made reservations at one of the log houses or the Pioneer House or one of the cabins, I encourage you to still come. Even though it's kind of sad and heartbreaking, it still is a very beautiful place, and I'm sure the owners here could use the revenue. So let's go ahead and we're going to go take a walk and take a look at some things. So we're down here right now looking at the Bunko River, and from the view that you see right here, it really doesn't look too bad. You can see some trees that are knocked down over there across the river. And sadly, as you go up and down River Road down here, I don't know how well you can see in the background here, but it is very, very sad. So many trees got completely wiped out. Kind of look over here to the left. You might be able to see some more trees down over here. You can see a lot of the rubble here at 7A. And driving from Austin, which is where I live, to get here, you know, you drive through the town of Wimberley and everything in the town looks just the same. And it wasn't until we got here on River Road that you start to see the destruction, and trees just knocked down everywhere. Some of the heavy rocks down at the river were completely knocked around, and as you can see down at the bottom, you can see that the bridge is actually covered with water. Right now it is not able to be driven across, and you know, I can remember back in the 1970s there were some years when the water was very, very high and it would go over the bridge and cars would have to drive over it very, very slowly, but right now it's still too high to even have that. And one of the really, really sad things about this is that whenever we're planning on coming here for a vacation, of course you have to make your reservations months in advance. And I was always hoping and praying that there'd be a lot of rain so the river would be nice and full. And after what has recently happened, it just kind of makes me sad to think you have to be careful what you wish for. Maybe we'll walk down the river a little bit later as we go down, and I'll kind of walk by a place where I used to go fishing with my brother and my father, and again, it's really sad to see how bad it is. Now this shot that we're looking at right here, on the right hand side you can see what used to be cabins 8, 9, 10, and 11. And I forget what cabin this one was right here, but as you can see they're all completely destroyed. Nothing left but the foundation. And if we look over to the left, you can see there are some cabins that are still standing, but I don't think anybody knows at this point whether or not they will be able to use them again, because I believe they sustained some damage. So you'll have to forgive me here, I'm kind of choking up here. Cabins 9, 10, and 11 for me probably have the most sentimental value, because growing up as a small child in the 70s, we would always rent one of these 3 cabins as we thought they were the best. The floor plans were very, very similar. Get a little closer here. We're going to walk over to what was one time cabin number 10. And it's funny how small these cabins look without any walls. But as you kind of look over here where that bench was, that was the porch. And then over on the far right and far left were 2 double beds. What you see right over here in the corner was the bathroom. There was a small bedroom over here that had 1 bed. And then next to that was the kitchen. And again, it looks so small without the walls. And it's interesting because I can remember years ago the way these cabins were designed, the way they looked. You can kind of see the floor is kind of a green color, and back then, as I recall, the walls were sort of a wood paneling, so it was a very, very dark indoor. I remember the bedspreads being very, very dark in color. And if we come over here and look at cabin 11, I want to say sometime maybe in the 1990s, although I don't know for sure, they redid these cabins and they put a lot of the tile here that you see. Kind of a lighter color tile, and the walls were lighter, and it made the interior of the cabins much more prettier. And again, you can see all of that is gone now. Let's go ahead and we're going to walk over and take a look at the pool.